Goddamn.
Oh, man. Wow. What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing here today for another edition of NHP Unscripted, man? As you can see, my camera angles are still recovering from the weekend of using a different mic. My bad. You can see my arm, fucking podcast mic arm and shit. Okay. So, anyways, how's everybody doing? Welcome back, like I said, to another edition of the Notorious Sales Podcast, another edition of Unscripted. How's everybody doing here today on your Monday night? And yeah, hope you guys are ready to talk some wrestling. But before we get into all that, as you guys can see in the intro, as you guys can see in the little prelude to the starting screen, man, we lost a wrestling legend on Sunday, yesterday. In the morning, we all woke up to the news of ECW legend Sabu passing away. And man, that one, not only was that like crazy to hear about, but it definitely, it obviously sucked. But it literally feels like just a couple weeks ago, and that's mainly because it was just a couple weeks ago, where he wrestled his retirement match, and we seen him falling into barbed wire head first, and only and only the finest of Sabu ways, I guess, as Sabu is always done throughout his career. And like I said, man, he's fallen into barbed wire and all this other stuff, and a couple weeks later, dude, you hear about him passing away. And that just absolutely just sucks. It really does suck to hear, man. When I first started getting into wrestling, I remember the way I found out about ECW was there was a WWE Top 50 Moments, or it might have even been an ECW Top 50 Moments DVD that was available for purchase at the time for WWE. What did they call it? I think it was WWE Home Theater or WWE Home Video. I think it was WWE 24/7, and I remember getting this DVD, and I'll have to go back and rewatch it someday, but I'll never forget one of the top 50 moments was my very first time hearing about Sabu. And it was it was about a moment in ECW where he was wrestling a match and he cut himself with barbed wire from like his elbow all the way up his bicep, and he started pouring out blood everywhere. And instead of them stopping the match, and instead of them getting the guy medical attention, Sabu's first thought was to rip off a piece of his belt, his white belt that he would wear, was to rip it up and tie his arm shut. And that just, I guess, really puts into perspective how much the man loved what he did, and how much
He really did.
how much he just loved the game, bro, of deathmatch wrestling. An absolute ECW legend. Some of the coolest, it wasn't too long ago, I think it was 2 years ago, he even popped up most recently in AEW.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, man, just an absolute a trailblazer, somebody who helped put ECW on the map, an ECW icon, and truly an ECW legend, a legend in the wrestling space, in the deathmatch wrestling space. Truly, man, rest in peace to an absolute legend in Sabu. Truly, man, like I said, one of a true hardcore legend and hardcore icon in this business, man. So rest in peace, man, and just absolutely horrible to hear.
Really is horrible to hear, man. Truly is a legend in wrestling, man. And passings when you know it's always a shock, man. It really just it hits you, man, and it really sucks, man. It really sucks. Obviously, I didn't grow up on ECW or nothing, but of course watched, and it's crazy. Did you see that the this season's episode of Dark Side of the Ring that comes out this week is the Sabu episode?
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a weird ass coincidence, man, but truly, his passing is it's horrible, man. It's horrible, and it sucks, man. It sucks, and I just wish the best for his family, and everyone that was inspired by him.
For sure, man. For sure. I always love that move where he would like run up the steel chair and then like hit somebody with like a fucking flying leg drop onto the outside. I keep
Oh
seeing
yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot of people's one of I'm sure that's a lot of people's at least one of their favorite moves of his because I keep seeing clips of him doing that move all around, man. But yeah, like I said, a true icon. He will be missed, and his mark on the business, and especially on ECW, it will never go away. It will never go away. So rest in peace again to the man Sabu. I also remember another crazy. I also remember another crazy. I don't know if it was on the ECW DVD or not, but I also remember another crazy clip of Sabu where he was walking to the ring, and I guess some fans decided to fuck around and they ripped off his headpiece
Oh
and
wow.
and they were like in the crowd fucking laughing 'cause they thought it was funny. So fucking Sabu jumps the fucking barricade and starts beating their ass.
Just start
And
whooping their ass.
he started beating their ass, or at least he slapped the shit out of the dude or whatever. But as another as another funny clip of Sabu's that I remember, or crazy clip of Sabu's that I remember watching, was just yeah, wrestling fans, dude. They decided to fuck around and I mean Sabu helped them find out. So um crazy stuff, dude. But with all of that, how's everybody doing here today on this episode of NHP Unscripted? This is episode 247. And if this is your first time watching, you guys do not know how the show works. Every Monday, we are on here after Monday Night Raw with NHP Unscripted. And every Friday at 3 p.m. Central, we are on here with the news. Also, if you guys did miss this past Friday's episode of the news, as well as this past Saturday's edition of the Backlash St. Louis 2025 official post-show review. You guys can now watch both of those live on all platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live. Like I said, every Friday at 3 p.m. Central for the news and for the pay-per-views for both WWE and AEW directly after the show goes off the air with the official post-show review. And with that, if this is your first time watching and you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Links to the top of the description of this very video, where you can get this beautiful piece of Notorious Heels merchandise, like I said, live on the merch shop as we speak, man. So with all of that, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at Notorious Heels, I'm Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. How the hell are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just been chilling, man. Been chilling. Been pretty normal. It was a great weekend. Watched Thunderbolts. Hung out. Watched Backlash. It was a great weekend, man. Really good weekend. And now I'm just waiting for what's next, man. Is it Double or Nothing next, or is it Money in the Bank?
Oh, it's
I
double or
always
nothing.
forget. It is Double or Nothing, yes, because we'll be doing the review at 12 midnight. Did remember that, man. So, I'm intrigued to see how Double or Nothing goes, man. Always excited to do the review, but for the show itself, I'll say I'm intrigued. Um, just waiting for that, man. Just waiting for that. They finally fucking announced some qualifying matches, or that they're gonna happen next week for Money in the Bank. So look at that. And I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing watching the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, dude. Yeah, just chilling, bro. Just chilling. Yeah, like I said, doing pretty good, and yeah, just coming off of the backlash slash Mother's Day weekend. So Mother's Day was nice. Got to spend it with the OG. So that was
Right.
nice, and yeah, that was my weekend, man. Backlash and Mother's Day, so it was nice. So we said it on Saturday's stream, but again, happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there, man. So yes, other than that, I just getting back into the swing of things, bro. So as Durante always asks, I'm good, family's good. What about you, Durante, Logan, Bell, my man Hunter? How are you guys doing? Thank you guys for joining us. Logan says he did not watch Raw. He went to the gym instead. He made his return to the
Awesome.
gym. That is great news, man. That is great news. That is awesome to hear. You know, tell you all the time. Proud of you, brother. Very proud of you, and great stuff to hear, man. So yeah, it's been been pretty crazy for myself as well. I've been back for about 3 months. 3 months coming off an injury, so it's been quite the learning curve,
Oh yeah.
a relearning curve, I guess. But it has been a very rewarding one, if that. So, yes, but hopefully you guys are doing good, whether you're here now or a part of the replay. I don't know why I almost said the replay mob. The replay mafia. um, so, whether, like I said, whether you guys are here now or part of the Replay Mafia, my guys JT and JB, thank you guys so very much for joining us. And man, well, before we get on to Dynamite Turkey, I believe you have something to say about WWE's post-show antics from Saturday night.
Dog, these WWE post shows, man.
Ooh.
They used to be really cool. They used to, they used to ask, you really see the real side of people and they get asked questions and be cool, man. It was cool. And then when it really caught on, WWE saw that, took it, and incorporated it into the show that they put on. And when they do that, those cool, like real snippets of like the real aspect of things always turn out into just more an extension of just normal television, and that just kills the whole point of the thing. And look no different than their post shows, dude. They fucking had John Cena put R-Truth through the post-show table. That alone, that action alone, has completely killed post shows, and you might as well not do them anymore. They're literally just now at another extension of the WWE storytelling and all that, which can be good, but it's also you sometimes you get those real like insights to the real side of people. And for the post shows, dude, that's gone at this point. Nobody asks real questions. Everyone stays in complete character the whole time, and they're so bad now. They're so bad, and that was the final straw, at least for me, man.
Man. Yeah, it's, man, it is it, on one hand, on one hand, WWE's post shows sometimes once in a while, or maybe like two questions a show, can be pretty enjoyable. Just but a lot of times, at least I don't know, maybe maybe that's just me thinking about how post shows used to be, but
Hmm.
nowadays, man, it really it seems like it just seems like one big glaze party. It
It is.
really does, and it's like for I don't know, man, for me to see something like that on a post show, to see, you know. somebody, to see somebody get put through a fucking table at what is supposed to be a press conference. Something that used to be very cool. But then, if we go back to that statement, used to be, I'm thinking back to the early AEW post shows or even the early WWE post shows when they were letting actual media people in there to ask legit
Questions.
questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems like, every other talent that walks up there, all they get hit with is what's next?
Do
What?
you feel
What?
that
Yeah,
you won a title? It's literally they're basically just glorified backstage interviewers now, the shitty ones too.
pretty much, pretty much. And if you ask me, the backstage interviewers are probably a little more glorified than these knuckleheads that they fucking announced or have come to the shows to do media, because again, man, you get every single person that comes out. How'd you feel about your match? And we say this all the time. What the fuck do you think they're going to say? Honestly, like, do you honestly think that is a question that is going to engage the talent or the person you're asking? How did you feel about your match? What do you think they are going to say? I thought my match fucking sucked balls tonight. That's how I felt about
Out of
my match.
blue.
I thought this was one of the top five worst matches in pay-per-view history.
I went out there and put on a fucking stinker. Yeah, I'm just tell you that. Like what?
I realized tonight that I am not a draw. I can hardly fucking work, and I'm just walking around with a title because, this guy wants me to. What do you think they're going to say? I mean, honestly. And that is one of
Like
the that is that to me is just, it's such a it's just it's such a killer. It's such a killer to me, man. And then you run an angle on a post show. We have seen AEW kind of do this, but the way AEW does this, in my opinion, is like a lot better. Like,
yeah.
I remember a couple years ago at the Forbidden Door event, Chris Jericho kind of walked up on Sting and Darby Allin, and he was in the press room, but he was just yelling at them. We didn't see a fucking brawl break out in front of the media where Sting comes off the fucking top of the press board with a flying elbow through the press table on Chris Jericho. No,
No.
Jericho was kind of just yelling. I think he threw something at him and they escorted him out. Okay, that's subtle. That's cool. That's something, that's something a little fun to do. But to me, man, a table spot at a media scrum where we're supposed to be here to ask legit questions and legit get an insight on what is going on. So what you're doing effectively is you're creating a whole entire show for Netflix where you pull back the curtain and you reveal all the untold secrets, but you can't talk a little out of character at a media scrum. And that's fine. If you don't want to do it, then don't do the Netflix
Okay.
show and don't do a media
Mm-hmm.
scrum. And then
Literally, it's that
you
simple.
can close the curtain all you want. You know what I mean? But it's just
Exactly.
like they like to pull the curtain back and they like to advertise these things that like to pull the curtain back, but then they completely just water them down and make them so fucking cheesy. It's
It's
just
like it's so annoying, dude. And like, pick one or choose one. You could either, let the curtain back or you don't. And I thought the media scrum was a good peak where you weren't completely letting the curtain fly unless you were seeing Punk and AEW, but you peek through the curtain, but you release a documentary that's literally just throwing the curtain open and saying, yeah, this is exactly how we do things. We were gonna go with this at WrestleMania, but that's like I don't want to know that at this point. I would love it. I want to know that, but I don't want you to directly just tell me these things.
yeah, for sure. For sure, man. So I don't know. It's just they again. I'm starting to feel this way. the the room where the media is so corporate and it's so watered down But
Hmm.
I'll tell you, if I can say one thing about positive about these post shows, the panel that Big E has, sometimes they invite talent onto there. That feels genuine. That feels
Hmm.
like I feel Big E is a better fucking media source than half of the people that they invite. I feel like Big E at least asks fucking halfway decent questions,
Oh
or
yeah.
just something more of intrigue than how did you feel about your match? Are you fucking kidding me?
Like dude, horrible. The people that are allowed in there are the biggest dorks in the business, dude. I mean, you have people coming up thinking they're a part of it, asking, "How do you feel? How do you feel that you're a champion? What's next? What's your Waffle House order? If you were to be a tag team with someone who, it's like, bro, are these shitty ass, dumb ass questions you're asking, dude? What?
Um, love Triple H. Think he's doing a great job. When he gets up there, it, it is
Dude,
it's just
the
he
glaze fest.
it's yeah, I mean it's like, and it makes me think back to the days when he used to actually be posed with real questions. He used to get pissed off. Nowadays he goes up
Mhm.
there and he gets these stupid questions. How do you feel about the direction of creative? Well, thanks for the question, ma'am. I think my fucking creative sucks. It's worse than 2001 WCW at the moment. And yeah, we're probably going to close shop soon. Like,
It's
what?
like, wh- what do you think people are going to answer these questions, man? I, it's horrible. They're really so watered down, dude.
It really is, man. But yeah, that, good God, that little spot at the media scrum was quite a head scratcher, man. I mean, you mean to tell me that couldn't have been done on SmackDown?
Literally, that could have easily been done on SmackDown, or easily just filmed in a backstage thing where they're backstage. He goes up to him and he beats him up. You could like, that was the worst way to do that.
Yeah. Or Cena got on the mic after Backlash. Why you couldn't have had R-Truth run up to him, give him a hug like they're celebrating together, grab the mic and just tell him, "Man, I'm so proud of you, even though people say you can't wrestle." And then end Backlash instead of Cena cutting a promo where he's making everybody think that fucking somebody's gonna come out and confront him. You end Backlash with John Cena beating R-Truth to a pulp.
Yeah, that, that's a way better visual than no visual at all, than a tease of a visual, and then just a fade to black.
Yeah, I mean, not saying what they did necessarily was bad with like the teasing aspect, but like in terms of the segment with our truth, man, I just a media scrum is a media scrum, man. It should be taken seriously. Right there, if I'm a member of media, right there, you just told everybody in that room what you think of them. You think they're a
Oh
fucking
yeah.
joke.
Do you think they're a joke? They're extras in your show. That's all you are.
Yes, you think they are fans showing up to ask questions rather than
Which
media.
literally,
So yeah, that's that's my thoughts on it. That's Sergey's thoughts on the situation, but yeah, I don't know. AEW started a great thing. They really did pioneer. I don't want to say
it really was.
pioneer, but in modern wrestling, I guess pioneered
Yeah.
media scrums, and they were fucking awesome. I love them. Tony Khan, at least in the beginning, would pretty much for the most part take on
Answer.
some hard
Mhm.
questions or whatever. Um, WWE started off great with them. I thought everything started off great, and then now nobody answers shit at AEW scrums. They're just glaze fests, as are WWE's. Everything's great. Rah rah. Company's great. Numbers are great. Talent, everyone's great. Everything's fucking fantastic here. Nothing's bad. shut the fuck up, be a fan, blah blah blah. Did we mention everything's great? Did we mention numbers are great? Revenue, gates, numbers, morale, you name it. It's
Numbers.
yeah, more numbers. So,
It's insane.
well, speaking of numbers, 2000 AEW
You know,
Dynamite,
2000.
2000 in attendance.
Oh, I was gonna say, no
Two,
fucking
two,
way. There's been 2,000 of these fucking
two,
things.
2000 weekly viewers.
Literally 2,000 people that care about your product.
AEW Dynamite, man. This episode
Yeah.
of AEW Dynamite was spearheaded by the Hurt Syndicate and MJF, no
Of
shocker
course.
there,
No way.
and Will Ospreay and Adam Page.
Yeah. No way. Your usual few best things on the show were the usual few best things on the show. Look at that.
Correct. Hangman opens the show with a microphone. He says he does not know why the fans cheer for him. He says the last 2 years have been hell for him. He says he thought for one moment, he says the last 2 years have been hell for him. And he thought for maybe one moment, if he went back into the ring after his steel cage match with Swerve Strickland, he would get his closure and his world would not be hell anymore. But he couldn't do it. And he thought he could take it out on everyone else around him to give him some sort of catharsis. But all it did was tear everyone down around him. So he had to make a decision. He says he will never forget and he will never forgive Swerve for what he did to him. But I have to put it behind me. Interesting little teaser there. So now I guess this is what I like about Adam Page. Okay, obviously he's going to be teaming with Swerve Strickland come July at All In, and you have him go out here and say things like this 2 months before, so it somewhat makes sense. So people don't say when we get to that point, he's teaming with a guy that burned his house down. Clearly, he's giving you some backstory as to why the whole heel run happened is because he was looking for his catharsis and he was looking for closure, right? So I like that aspect a lot. He says he has to put it behind him. And that is when he entered the Owen. And now he will get to wrestle who many consider the best in the world, Will Ospreay. Ospreay comes out. He grabs the mic. And he seemed to be quite the man of the hour last week for his comments that should have offended absolutely nobody. Now, sure, you can look at some of the things he said and say, well, he's wrong. Okay, is he though? It's his opinion.
Yeah.
It's his fucking opinion. There's a lot of people were upset with him saying, what did he say? He said none of the guys in WWE can touch our guys in the ring. A, you're entitled to your opinion, and B, a lot of times he is right. And of course, people bring up, well, they wrestle in front of 2,000 people. They don't draw any money. He didn't say his guys were bigger superstars than the people in WWE. He said, at least from what I at least think I read, he said they were better in the ring. I think.
From what I got to, that's what I thought. From what he said is, I think we're better in the ring than those guys. It was basically, at least to me, that simple. And not only would I hope he supports his company like that, but obviously he's gonna think, he's the best in the ring, and the people around him are the best in the ring. Does WWE not have all their guys see the exact same thing?
Yes.
Like, what's the difference? There's no difference from Seth going out there saying WWE is the pinnacle of business and all this shit, and there's no difference between Will Ospreay going out there and saying AEW is, we're the best wrestle and whatnot. So, first of all, it's opinion. Second of all, why do you really care so much? And it's his opinion, and in a certain context, he is right. So I
Yeah.
don't get where the beef is.
AEW has I don't want to say like far superior better in ring quality, but it's definitely superior, right?
It is better.
It's better. It's better than WWE's in ring quality. A lot that's just plain and simple. That's I feel like that's something we all should know. Um but um
I thought that
but
was the consensus here.
that's at least what I thought, but yeah, I mean he went out there, said some things, and he also said he was the best in the world, or he believed he was best in the world. Honest to God, what would you hope any professional wrestler would say? Because I would at least hope somebody would always believe they are the best in the world. Now, again, it's a difference when you're Joe Schmo that's wrestling in GCW or MLW versus Will Ospreay. I mean, this is Will Ospreay we're talking about. Everybody talks about guys like Gunther can't have a bad match. This because Seth Rollins can't have a bad match. Will Ospreay's in that caliber, okay? The guy can't
Yeah.
have a bad match. And you could sit there and say, oh, he's a gymnast or he's an acrobat or whatever you want to say. That's fine. That's your opinion. But at the end of the day, you can't take away. I'm not even just talking about Dave Meltzer's star ratings. I've watched the shit myself, and it's fucking
Exactly.
insane. And he's an insane performer. And half of the people who love WWE and were offended by these comments would be singing this man's praises if he was in that company right now. So
Oh, he would be their god over there if he was saying all these
AEW
same
can
things.
have Ricochet because we got Osprey. I can hear it already. I can literally hear it
They,
already.
I mean, that's what Seth said a couple of years ago about the reverse. We
Yes,
have Will
exactly.
Ospreay,
We
we
got a
have
better
Ricochet.
version than you. He just won his first U.S. title, yeah, and that's where it ended. That
That
was the
was the
pinnacle.
fucking peak. And now he's in the other company shitting on your fucking company. So at the end of the day, who fucking cares? People like where they work, and at the end of the day, I would fucking hope so. That's
Yes.
I thought that was the goal of everybody is to like where they work. Yeah, apparently
They
not.
they they get mad at Will Ospreay for saying something like that, but they also would have gotten mad at him if he would have said WWE.
Where I want.
I want to end it all in WWE. Then you guys would be saying, oh, nobody wants to work there, blah blah blah. You literally cannot win. And then there was another
No,
comment he made saying he does not like the WWE product.
okay.
Okay, that's his again. It's his personal opinion. Not everybody has to like the same thing. If he doesn't like, and WWE's more of an entertainment style. AEW, I mean, he's not wrong. AEW is more of a sports style. That's one of their main problems is they're just strictly match, match, match. But how can you tell the man what his preference is? If that's what he likes,
Yeah.
if he just likes straight wrestling, oh fucking K, who cares? Like,
New Japan has a pretty big fan base, and that's kind of their whole deal. I mean, people have their preferences. I like WWE, I like AEW. Sometimes I think both get excessive with their ends of the spectrum,
yes.
and that's okay. I'm always, I'm a, I'm a man in the middle, usually.
Oh, bro.
I knew that was gonna pop you, but
Okay.
I prefer a little mix of both. But lately, past few years, I would say I prefer WWE over AEW, but I've preferred the opposite in the past. And one day it could switch. I would love if that could possibly happen, but I don't know. But like, who cares? People have their preferences. People are AEW fans. People are fucking WWE fans. People are fucking TNA fans nowadays. People like what they like. Who cares? They like wrestling at the end of the day, bruh. It is, like, I don't get it.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. Once again, the IWC just finding something to come down on somebody
Yeah.
about, and Will Ospreay seemed to be the man of the hour last week. But yeah, again, I personally would, I would disagree with that statement. I like, WWE's kind of more entertainment storytelling based style rather than a sports style. But that's not to say I don't like the
Wrong.
sports that I don't like the sports style. I like it. I just think maybe they do it a little, like Sergey said, excessively. But then you look at the other side of the coin. Sometimes
They
WWE
do
does
this.
entertainment and other side bullshit more than the wrestling aspect. And like for pay-per-views or something, that gets annoying. You know what I mean? Or we used to always complain about Vince's WWE when the entirety of the show there was 20 minutes of in-ring action and the other 2.5 hours were promos and segments that nobody gave a shit about. That gets a little excessive, and sometimes they both do get a little excessive. But personally, for me, I do like the entertainment style more than the sports based style, but that's just my preference. And again, that's not to say I don't like the sports based style. I think it does work sometimes, but that's just my preference and it's okay.
Yeah.
But again, it goes it feeds into what I've been saying for years, and you can really attribute this to any sort of sport. People have a really hard time coming to grips with the fact that people have other opinions and people have other preferences, and just because it's not your shit doesn't mean it's fucking wrong.
Like,
Back in 2017, I think it was, or 2016, everybody blew a gasket over Randy Orton say indie guys flip too much. It's his fucking
it's his
opinion.
preference.
Who gives a
Like,
shit? Like what
maybe
if he prefers not to if he thinks or if it's his opinion that the flipping shit or the flippy do or whatever he called it at the time doesn't work, then that's his fucking
was it
opinion.
flipping flopping? It was like flip flop shit. It was something like that.
Yeah, it's his fucking opinion, and he's Randy Orton. I mean, he's been around for a very long time. I mean, are who's to really tell him he's wrong? I mean, it's prolonged the shit out of his career, not doing stuff like that. So, I mean, it's again, they just they can't handle it, bro. They can't handle the fact
Yeah.
that people just everybody just has different opinions. It's
It's the business. It's anything ever. Movies, music, TV shows, wrestling, and other sports. People always have their opinions, and people freak out. And people having opinions, dude. I never understood that.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. To me, again, it's not like the man. If Will Ospreay went out there and said all of our guys are bigger superstars and bigger draws than anybody in WWE, now you're getting a little like, all right,
Excessive.
that's a little like, okay, you should definitely take a step back there for sure. That's just dead wrong, and you know it. But again, for him to just simply go out there and say, I think our guys are better in the ring than any of the guys over there. What is he supposed to say? Yeah, I think WWE's roster stumps our roster. Our roster looks like shit compared to theirs.
Like, I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
Man, Logan says some guy said he thought Backlash was bad and the entire IWC killed him.
Okay, I thought it
Uh,
was good. I
I,
don't care if he thought it was bad. Who
dude,
cares?
it's all
Why do
right.
y'all
I
care?
always I always go back to that fucking FTR tweet, dude. When I
Yep.
tweeted about not liking FTR's theme song and
It
not
was
not
low.
and they literally were like, "What's your taste of music?" Well, I mean,
Not that.
I I can tell you right now, it's not what they suggested. What was that? One of the things somebody said to me was, "You just must love Def Rebel." Uh,
Oh, I hate them actually more.
I, I would say I have a pretty good taste of music, but everybody would say they have
Yeah,
a pretty good
too.
taste of music. Um, Because you like
Kind of
what
the
you
point.
like. To my point, you like what you fucking like. So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's they and like I said, you can attest this to any sort of sport, but you just can't you can't have a fucking opinion, dude, or else people fucking flip out about it. But anyways, Will Ospreay, he gets in the ring. He says he says um he says, "Hangman, I have seen your whole journey. I know how much this means to you. One of my favorite moments in wrestling is when you took this group of misfits known as the Dark Order. Should have said the group of jobbers known as the Dark Order. And you took them and you showed them leadership. You showed them what it takes to be a cowboy. And you rode that support all the way to the AEW World Championship. It was perfect. It was.
It was perfect.
But after you lost it, everything changed. He said, he, he says, after you lost it, everything changed. He says, I get it. You had a rough couple of years, but I spotted something last week that we all haven't seen in a very long time. You smiled. He said, everyone here, including myself, really wants to see you beat those demons and reclaim your spot as the main character. I've got a problem with that, though, because at Double or Nothing, I'm not losing. He says Hangman is in the, Hangman, all he's done is tear people down. Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, Swerve Strickland. He says, would you like me to continue? He says, meanwhile, I've been doing everyone else's job around here. Media, meet and greets, taking photos with kids and their family. He says, I am the standard for for AEW, ringing the bell and me showing them where this is where the best wrestle. Then just because you smile again, you think you can take that spot back. That don't mean cowboy shit to me, bruv. He says, this is not about redemption. This is not about your redemption. This is about my ascension. Pretty fire promo there. Pretty fire promo there from Will Ospreay. And they get interrupted by the Don Callis family.
The hell on earth, no one's safe.
They should really have the taller guys stand behind Don when they all walk out on stage, because they decided to put Rocky Romero behind Callis, and you could not see him to save somebody's life, bro.
That was the shorter guy behind you.
I literally, when they were filming them from a front angle, I said, where the fuck is Rocky? They put the camera to the side of them to get a side view, and there he was, and I LOL'd so fucking hard, dude, because I was like, wait, why would they not put Rocky on the side of Don where you can actually see the guy, and then at least put somebody with a little bit of height sort of behind him? And for the love of God, what is this group?
This is the most, hey man, they're a heel, throw them in there. Like, dude, please for the love of God, just end this group. It's just a fuck fest of nobody, except for the two top guys in it.
I told you, bro, this is exactly where Jeff Cobb would have ended up. He would have either ended up with Jericho when he comes back, or he would have ended up in the Don Callis family. 100%.
Oh, 1,000%. 100% in the Dan Callis family, and it would have been horrible.
Golly. So, Don comes out and he challenges these two guys to a match next week at Beach Break in Chicago for two of them versus two random members of the Don Callis family.
Oh wow, it could be like 10 different fucking people.
It ended up being Josh Alexander and Konosuke Takeshita.
Wow.
So
Good Lord. Will Ospreay is great. I love that promo. Love Hangman's promo.
mhm.
Love the story progression with Hangman, and I love, like you mentioned, way earlier, we had to go off on all those tangents, man. But love the progression of Hangman's character. Saying, don't forgive, or I didn't forget. I'm not gonna forgive, but I'm moving past all that. It's a good step, dude. I love what they're doing with that, and Will Ospreay gave an incredible promo, man. And, then Don Callis family went along and this what we call TV filler is Don Callis family, man. So that's what that ended up turning into.
There you have it. So, yeah, sitting on the same side of the fence as him, man. I love just the progression from Hangman mixed with Will Ospreay's ability to just get in there and make a very valid case for why he needs to win the Owen. And that's,
Hmm.
because while guys who the fans love, like Adam Page and whoever else, but specifically in this case, Adam Page, um, haven't been doing their job. You know what I mean? They've been slacking on doing the superstar stuff. I guess the media, the meet and greets, and meet and greets with the families or whatever. Will's been that guy, and he makes a very valid case for why he needs to win this tournament is because he's the guy that's been putting in the work and he feels he deserves this and he feels that now is the time for him to challenge for the AEW World Championship. So I like it, like the progression from Hangman, like the intensity from Ospreay in this promo. Overall, it was good stuff, and I expect nothing less from these two. These two are probably the best that this company has,
Hmm.
and yeah, they're fantastic.
Truly, they truly are the best this company has.
FTR. They are in the crowd. They're messing with Tony Schiavone, or they weren't necessarily in the crowd. They were just kind of had their announce table in a weird position. It kind of, I guess, maybe looked like it was in the crowd, or maybe it was. I don't know. But they're messing with Tony Schiavone, and Stokely pushes him down into his chair. He gets back up, and FTR stands in front of them, and they called out Daniel Garcia for a match on Collision.
Yeah. Daniel Garcia, man. He fell for it. He really fell for the Tony Khan trickery,
Man,
and look what he's doing now. He's just a random part in the heel turn of FTR in a random match. He could have been running the men's division in NXT, and this is what he's doing. Then, oh yeah, I was gonna say the non-existent TNT champ. He's not even TNT champ anymore, and because who would remember that he even was?
certainly not me. That
No.
5 years from now, hell, maybe even a year from now, you will be able to look back and say, "Oh my God, Daniel Garcia was TNT champion." Huh?
Oh, genuinely, I think that is, to me, probably the worst TNT run. I think there was runs that were like worse to watch, if that makes sense, but his was so non-existent, it was
Mm.
worse. I don't know if that makes sense to some people, but for me, he was just
This was the worst reign you
non-existent.
didn't watch because they didn't put him on television.
Exactly. He was nowhere to be found on
Yeah.
actual real television, i.e., Collision does not count. I don't care.
Yes. I mean, dude, if you want to throw him on Collision, have him be an anchor of that show, okay, but at least put him on Dynamite every now and again, just to let people know there's some sign of life. The same thing with Adam Cole.
Exactly.
Adam Cole's kind of on Dynamite, but like for the most part, is a Collision guy, and nobody even knows he exists anymore. All everybody ever
Yeah,
talks about
man.
is his downfall. So, Tony Storm is in a fatal 4-way eliminator match.
Which, by the rules of an eliminator match, how is a four-way eliminator match even feasible? Like, you would have to make the rule to where you have to pin Tony Storm because that's what an eliminator match is. You face the champ. If you win, you get a title shot. Dumbass concept. Hate it. But it's one that AEW does. So how on earth would that work if one of the women just pinned one of the other women that isn't champ? That's not an eliminator win. That's just a normal. One of the dumbest match concepts made even dumber.
Yeah, so with that logic, Thunder Rosa could pin someone with hardly any wins, like Penelope Ford, and just get a title shot. And Thunder Rosa might not even have all that much wins herself.
Literally, it's horrible. One of the worst ideas, and they're about to repeat that.
Question. Not that I was like
Mhm.
a huge fan of her or like am dying to see her back, but I thought of her a couple days ago. What in
Well,
the world ever happened to Hikaru Shida?
huh. I know. I don't know. Maybe I always see, AEW fans joke about how like she comes in, every few months, does a little thing, and then leaves. So maybe it's like she mostly does Japan nowadays. Maybe I'm guessing. I don't know if that's like the deal she struck or something, but I guess that's the case. I have no clue. I genuinely don't know. Maybe she's super part-time. Maybe she's on that Brock Lesnar schedule for some fucking reason. But yeah, she is rarely around anymore. Same with like Riho.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of the originals really like aren't around anymore. I mean, some are because they're either out the door or about to be out the door, but
yeah.
nonetheless, it's crazy now that you mention it.
Yeah, so Tony Storm defeats Penelope Ford, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa in an eliminator match, and she is set for another fatal 4-way eliminator match at Beach Break against Mina Shirakawa, AMZ, I think her name is, and Sky Blue. Sky Blue will be returning to action, and she was
Eliminator.
announced on a graphic. Why they did not just bring her out there as a surprise return beats me. Same thing with Mina. I thought they would bring her in a more, in a more grander fashion. Being that she's coming off a free agency. Nope, just announced in a
Yeah,
graphic
the-
too. So
your audience knows Mina. They're already kind of used to her. She has some ties with like some people on the show. You could have done, she could have showed up, did something with Tony Storm, maybe attacked Tony Storm or something, or challenge. No, just announced. And same with Sky Blue, back from injury after what? Damn near a year has it been with Sky Blue? It's been a
yeah.
minute, I
Oh
think.
yeah, almost.
Um, Yeah, and then just nope, just a graphic. Ugh, God damn. Who is the most lucrative job in this business has to be the AEW graphics department. That's got to be the most lucrative job in this business. It's got to be, dude, because holy hell,
Yeah, he'd be
not
putting them to
only do you
work.
always have work, dude, I'm telling you, it is 70% of this company is off the backs of those guys, man. So I got to salute them.
No doubt. No doubt. The Hurt Syndicate and MJF. MVP's out in the ring with Benjamin Shelton and Bobby and Bobby.
You see? Dude, Hogan, bro. Benjamin. Come on, dog. You see, bro, in that same interview, he said he was Brock Lesnar's first opponent when he came back to wrestling. Dude just can't help himself but to lie, dude. He just can't.
Wait. Surely you're not talking about his return in 2012, are you?
That is exactly what he was talking about. His return from the MMA, brother. He came back and, I was his first opponent back.
What? Brock
Like,
Brock surely had another return that nobody knew about because there's no fucking way you're
yes,
talking
that's
about
what he
his
said.
return in 2000.
Your man Hogan, he's funny, man. That man is fucking funny.
You know, we had a
He
bunch of
just
great athletes down there, dude. We had John Cena and Randy Orton and Benjamin Shelton and Brock Lesnar.
Benjamin
Benjamin Shelton. Benjamin.
Shelton. Apparently, there's another interview from like a few years ago where he said his name like that again. I was like, bro, are you kidding me?
Benjamin Shelton.
Benjamin Shelton.
Hulk. Not only is it Benjamin, not Benjamin, it's Shelton
The Shelton comes
Benjamin.
first.
we
The
had
first name.
Randy Orton and Benjamin Shelton. Wait, okay. So he fucking said he was Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar's first opponent back in 2012.
Yeah. Or he said, when Brock came back, from UFC and MMA, brother, I was his first opponent back in the business, Jack.
What? What?
He was his first opponent for being back. And Hulk Hogan wasn't even wrestling at the time.
Hulk probably thinks he probably I have to look into that. I have to see this clip, dude. He he has to think that like the spirit of the company's top guy lives through him. He has to.
He has to. Because there's no way. That man is something else. Chronic liar, and I love it.
Benjamin Shelton.
Benjamin Shelton.
Well, MVP is in the ring with Bobby Lashley and Benjamin Shelton. And MVP says, we're tired of hurting people. We want to see who's trying to hurt us. So, he calls out some tag teams or the tag team division to step up and try to hurt them. We then see the dominant force of Crew, Leo Rush and Action Andretti. They're in the crowd. But Top Flight come out from the entrance ramp and they tell the Hurt Syndicate they will answer their challenge. But before they get very far down the ramp, MJF attacks them. He attacks them. He comes out wearing a tank top with his wrists or his fists taped, and he starts beating the shit out of Top Flight. Running him into the ring post, running him into the steel steps. I believe Dante Martin was busted open as MJF's just punching him on the head, right in the forehead. And both of them are bleeding. He gives one, if not both of them, a pile driver on the stage. Beats the shit out of these guys, right? Some people might say, how could you do that to Top Flight? I say, AEW has never given you a reason to have faith in their booking of Top Flight, other than maybe that initial run when Darius was hurt and they were using the shit out of Dante Martin and he was actually like a pretty dope high flyer. And then they came back, looked like they were going to be used as a legit tag team. And now the only thing that looks good for them is NXT. So they get laid out by MJF. Bobby is standing in the ring. MJF gets in the ring. He walks right up, gets in Bobby Lashley's face. Bobby asks Max for the mic. He grabs the mic and he says, I will have an answer for you next week. So in Chicago at Beach Break, this could be the make or break segment for MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Is he going to get in? Or are they going to let him in and then he immediately double crosses them? Is he going to get in? Are they not going to let him in? It's going to be interesting to see, man, but this all looks like it's coming to a head next week as yet again these guys have another very interesting part in the show. I thought this was great.
Yeah, very, very good. I like what they did here. Like you said, always one of the best parts about the show, and this episode was no different, man. I mean, I love the bit of just legit fightness from MJF that we don't always get. Well, we used to get a lot, but haven't gotten. We didn't get for a certain period. Look, now we're getting again, and it's great, dude, and it's great. I'm very intrigued to see how next week goes. I'm very curious to see what they do, man. They could do a lot. They could have, like you said, maybe he does join them. Maybe they reject him again. Maybe MJF rejects them. Very curious to see where they go, but I'm gonna be watching because this is a story that, look at that, I fucking care about, man. So very intrigued. Great stuff this week, and very intrigued to see what they do next.
Definitely. Yeah, very excited for next week. Very excited for next week. I think it's going to be great. They're going to be in front of the Chicago crowd. And it's I would say it's about time before we get to Double or Nothing. Maybe Bobby is going to tell MJF, if you could beat me at Double or Nothing,
You're in.
then you're in. I know they're the tag team champions, but who really gives a shit? The division's dead anyways. Yeah, so
Really? Maybe MJF talks to Don Callis and gets the murder machines
fuck.
under his wing.
Mm.
That sounds horrid.
Well,
Um,
Brian Cage is still injured, so if he's gonna be getting any tag team from the Don Callis family, it's gonna be Roppongi Vice. Heel Rocky is what people wanted to see.
okay, apparently that's not even what AEW hardcore fans wanted to see. That's how bad it is.
They don't like this shit either? Is that what you're telling me?
No. Yeah, apparently they don't care about like a heel Trent or a heel Rocky. They don't care about them. So look at that. Even their own fucking hardcore marks don't care about them.
Wow. Well, at least I do.
That's bad.
So, um, probably, you ask me, probably the best tag team in the business, but it's neither
Oh
here
yeah,
nor there.
Young Bucks who?
People
Usos who?
people wanted the heel Rocky. People just
They did for
clamoring
years.
for it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of tag teams, the Young Bucks. They're in the back talking to Ricochet about how they can deal with Swerve Strickland in their match later in the night. And the Bucks get done talking to Ricochet. They go to enter their locker room, and the room is dark. And these fucking freaks, the Death Riders, are sitting in the dark. Just sitting there. Like, dog, turn a light on. Why the fuck are you sitting in the dark for? Like, what are you doing?
Stupid as fuck. Who just sits there in the pitch black? Just wait. Just like how does
How
that
how
work?
long y'all been sitting there, bro? Why are you sitting in the dark? Okay.
So, like, you're telling me you've been sitting in the room, you think you hear him coming, so you run up, turn the lights off, run back into your spots in the dark, and pose up. Or even worse, you snuck in there while it was dark, posed up in the dark, and sat there in the dark until they came in. Either way, you guys are absolute freaks.
The fuck? So the Young Bucks walk into their locker room, and Marina lets them in and shuts the door. So now they're all standing in the dark.
Or if they went to temper conversation or have 7 minutes in heaven, I don't know what they were doing in there, man.
Hopefully not that.
I mean, they're in the fucking dark.
Dude,
How do you talk in the dark?
why are y'all talking to the Death Riders in the dark, let alone talking to the Death Riders at all? So, dude, here we are going to get, this is the start of the Young
Mm-hmm.
Bucks and the Death Riders becoming homies, which I want to reiterate what Jon Moxley said the Dynamite after Dynasty, where he
Mm-hmm.
said the Bucks were unrecognizable. He's disgusted by them and what they've become. You are teaming with them now for what? Nothing other than a couple of all-star 8-man tags has changed. Not a single fucking
Literally.
thing.
That's all you put on television were all-star 8-man tags, and you're setting up the most wonky fucking anarchy in the arena I've probably ever seen.
Yes, this whole story is taped together and just hardly held together by fucking Elmer's glue.
No, literally.
And not even the liquid glue, the sticks that wear off in like a day. Those fucking things.
Ugh.
That is what this is being held together by. So now we're starting to see the Young Bucks, I guess, mend fences with the Death Riders in the dark.
Should have just mended fences with CM Punk. We wouldn't have none of these fucking problems.
Golly. So, the next match on the show. The next match on the show was Nick Wayne.
Mm,
He defeated Rhino. ECW legend Rhino. Was on Dynamite this week. Yeah, he defeated Rhino in a match for the Ring of Honor TV Championship. And
yeah.
yeah,
Rhino was cool to see, even though I think they played it. Did they play it up as a surprise in the moment?
yes. Even though they already announced
Which
he was going to be there.
I was gonna say they fucking announced he was gonna be there, and I thought I remembered they played it up as a surprise when we knew he was gonna be there, but I digress with that. But cool to see him, I guess, and yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. The next match was Christian Cage walked away alone after Nick Wayne picked up this victory. He walked away by himself. So
Interesting.
the Young Bucks and Ricochet defeated Swerve, Speedball, and I think it was Mark Briscoe was the third one. As
Can I
Matt
say
Jax,
can I guess who got pinned?
you would be wrong. It was not
Oh,
Mark
it's not
Briscoe.
Mark.
I know. It was
Oh,
Swerve.
oh, it did even worse.
Swerve got rolled up by Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
So Swerve, they played up. Swerve was caught off guard.
By what?
He took a needle to the inside of the mouth, but a roll up caught him off guard.
Oh,
He got power
okay.
bombed on a cinder block, but a roll up caught him off guard. But yeah, so I guess this is just further building to his hatred for the Young Bucks. I don't know why he wouldn't hate them already, being that they cost him the AEW World Championship, but I guess just to
I hated.
further implement his hatred, he has been rolled up and pinned. by Matt Jackson.
Mm.
We get a brief little trash talking segment in the back with Will Ospreay and MJF. Pretty cool. I kind of like how AEW does those kind of like random face-offs that we don't end up seeing till like future.
Months later.
This is like their way of teasing things. I guess just having two
Yeah.
people randomly cross paths in a backstage interview. 9 times out of 10, it's MJF
Cool.
intruding on somebody's interview.
Usually MJF or an angry Adam Page walking past someone, and usually it's one of those two guys. But I like it nonetheless. I actually really like it.
For sure. Jamie Hayter does a backstage interview stating that she is nothing like Mercedes Moné, and talks about what the Owen means to her before she is attacked by Mercedes Moné. And these two brawl out onto the stage. Mercedes hits a crossface, locks a crossface in on Jamie Hayter, and leaves her lying there. So, yeah, look, as long as Jamie wins, then we'll be okay.
Well, usually how things go, if things go according to usually how they go, last week, she got, the one up Mercedes. So that probably means this week on Dynamite, Jamie will get the one up. And when, oh wait, no, this isn't why do I keep thinking this is the go home show? I'm so thrown off. Never mind.
2 weeks.
Never mind. Hopefully, okay, 2 weeks. Hopefully, man, I just hope Jamie wins.
Same here. Kazuchika Okada versus Kevin Knight. Excalibur. Man. Excalibur says Kazuchika Okada is going up against this man. Kevin Knight. He's been red hot since joining All Elite Wrestling.
He has. Really? I don't think I feel any heat, but
he has been red hot. Is it fucking opposite day? But he's been red hot. What do you mean he's been red hot? All you've done is thrown him in all-star 8-man tags. That's red hot?
For Tony Khan, yes, that is the definition of hot for Tony Khan.
Holy shit. Kevin Knight loses to Kazuchika Okada because Roosh attacks him. The reason he attacked him was he had a little vignette a little earlier in the night. He had a vignette a little earlier in the night where he said, Kevin Knight, you cost me money in a match. Apparently they had a match a couple weeks ago on Collision that was for money. You cost me money, so now you owe me that money.
Dog. For you, how do you make a dumb thing on television even fucking dumber? Well, first of all, I go into it every time. I hate the for money bullshit. At the end of the day, I don't fucking care how much kayfabe money you're fucking making out of a match. I don't give a fuck. Second of all, okay, you had a match for money, I guess. So, said one guy wins the money because winning said match. So, by your logic, since you didn't win, the free money you would have got from winning the match or not, now the winner owes you that money because you didn't win. It's like buying a fucking lottery ticket.
I was just gonna
you
fucking
don't win.
make that analogy. But you go back to the same fucking gas station you bought the thing at and say, you guys owe me that fucking money now.
But you're not even going up again. You're going up to the winner of the lottery and saying, you know what? I bought a fucking ticket and you won it. So, motherfucker, you're giving me that money. What? What the you didn't win? What do you mean he owes you that money? You didn't win the free money, so you didn't get the money.
The fuck, dude?
Oh my god, way to make a dumb fucking concept 10 times fucking dumber. Oh.
Second question. Wasn't Kevin Knight teasing a feud with Ricochet?
I couldn't even tell you that if I'm being honest. He might have been.
He was.
I
He
don't
was
pay
the past
attention to
2 weeks.
Kevin
The past 2 weeks, they've teased him and Ricochet getting involved with each other's matches. And now he's feuding with Roosh, and Ricochet's involved with the Bucks.
Maybe they realized, damn, we've been looking at Ricochet like a loser, so we can't really have him lose. But this new guy, this new young guy, he can't lose either. So yeah, let's just drop this shit. Because what the fuck else are you to fucking do?
Yeah, you would think that they would have thought about that
Not
beforehand, but
Yeah, you would think, you wouldn't back yourself into a corner, but they backed themselves into a corner, and their way out was just fucking just avoiding the problem altogether, man. They just avoided it. They just broke the wall and just walked through and just they're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not dealing with that problem. Thanks.
there you go. So, Kevin Knight still wants to compete after he was attacked by Roosh. He gets in there, loses to Okada. Guess they
Wow.
kept him looking strong in a match to Okada, at least. I guess that's minus all the Roosh logic gaps.
Literally, logic after no reason, dude. It's Okada. If he's beating some random new guy, who cares? The new guy really isn't gonna look worse. He's losing to Okada. It's like a mid carder losing to Roman Reigns. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You lost to the top guy. Yeah. All right.
So they beat Kevin Knight to Okada here, and Speedball comes out for oh well, forgot to mention, well, before this, after he was attacked, Speedball saved him from Roosh, which led him to the match, and then he lost to Okada. So yeah, and in the main event, Samoa Joe defeated Claudio with a Coquina clutch. Afterwards, Powerhouse Hobbs came out and attacked Claudio. The Death Riders came out to help Claudio, but Samoa Joe and Will Hobbs held the ring off, and the Death
Is
Riders
K5
couldn't.
this week?
What's yes, yep, this week.
Thank God. Thank fucking God, man. I have a main event I'll actually fucking enjoy. But yeah, it's just more, Samoa Joe, Death Riders stuff. I mean, it is what it is.
Yes, the Death Riders were on the outside of the ring, just watching Claudio get beat up because they were they held the ring up, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs. That was dynamite. That was dynamite as yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah, that was a yeah, that was yeah, that was pretty it's pretty boring. Pretty boring of an episode if I do say so myself. However, man, we got an official word from something. If you are bored, that would be perfect for you. Because if you're bored, you're watching Dynamite, you're loopy, you're about to pass out. Well, bam! Dubby Energy. Dubby is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics formulated to improve focus without getting the jitters. Dubby is a clean formula, sugar-free, zero-calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings, with 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving. You can get your Dubby products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout to save yourselves 10% on your next Dubby purchase.
Truly, always got to shout out Dubby, man. Whether it's work, workout, whatever you may need the energy for, whether it's very obviously Dynamite, 3 hours of SmackDown, you'll probably need it to stay up for. Whatever you need the energy for, man. You'll get the energy. You won't have any jitters, and it'll taste good all at the same time, man. Truly, always, thank you and shout out, Dovey.
As always, shout out to the official sponsor of the Notorious Heels, W Energy. As we got SmackDown. What do we have to talk about from SmackDown, you might ask? 3 things on a 3-hour program. There's
Get a thing an hour.
3 things. That is an average of 1 topic per hour.
Fucking hell.
Starting off, the Secret Hervis, or the Slagents, they challenged Zelina Vega to a tag match because she had no friends. She says she does have friends. And we're going to find out who her friends are. We then seen the return of Alexa Bliss.
Wow. Look at that.
Fucking wow is right. Alexa Bliss returns here on SmackDown to come to the aid of Zelina Vega. I don't know why Alexa Bliss would be one of her friends, but hey, I won't complain now. Let's just all be happy Alexa Bliss is back. So Bliss returned and they defeated the Secret Hervis. As Alexa Bliss is back, I'm obviously stoked to see her back. So far, we have not seen any, mention of the Wyatt Six or anything like that. Which is what we heard. She was rumored to be leading the faction upon their return, which we now know that, at least the last thing we heard, that Bo Dallas was cleared. So I'm assuming they will be back soon, as they are now on the SmackDown brand, as Alexa is over there now. I'm excited to see what they can do. Obviously, I've told you guys up and down my concerns about the Wyatt Six. So hopefully they're just able to capitalize, and hopefully we will be able to see soon how much of a game changer Alexa Bliss either is or isn't to that group. And hopefully they don't make me wish she would have just stayed on her own. Hopefully she is able to do good with that group and all that good stuff. But I can hope for the best. But I definitely have my concerns.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely have those concerns. I really hope if she does join up with them, they treat them like people, like the constant thing that we say. Treat them like people, the silhouettes are ceiling, all the whole 9 yards we have to repeat every time. But that is concerning, and I hope if she does join them that they, book them well, because so far they really have not. And if she does not, I would be very intrigued if what she does if that isn't the case. Great that she's back, dude, especially back to television. Finally, back to television, and very intrigued to see what she does, man. I think there was a thing after the match where she went up to Charlotte and wanted to talk to Charlotte about something. So don't know what that could be, but curious nonetheless, and curious to see where they take her.
Definitely. So we got Aleister Black. Almost called him Malachi Black again. We got Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. Pretty decent bout here. Aleister Black picking up the victory. But they did give this to us on free television.
They did, and that's a great match to give us on free television. That's great. What? Dude, there was some type of interview where they were on some sports thing, I think, went up to, a bunch of the roster, and I was asking them some stupid question. And, they have the little graphics cards under them. And for Carmelo Hayes, they had Montez Ford under Carmelo Hayes for his name. And that shit was killing me. I'm going to see if I can send it to you later. But that was killing me, man. That's all I was thinking about. But, God damn. But yeah, great match nonetheless. I mean, it's Aleister Black and Carmelo Hayes. It's gonna be great. And it was good. It was kind of just um tipped forward the little, tension between him and the Miz, maybe, I guess. Him might be looking a little unstable, man. But either way, great match, and very intrigued to see where this all gotta go next.
Yes. We got Fraxium already facing the Motor City Machine Guns. And they beat the Motor City Machine Guns in a non-title match. When we were watching this, I thought this was a title match. I said immediately after the second pin went down, the third, after the third count
Mhm.
went down, I said, "Oh my god, did they just fucking win the tag titles already?" And then, you had told me I don't think this was a title. I don't think this was a title match, and it wasn't. They beat the tag team champions in a non-title match. I guess on one hand, maybe you could say, who did I say? Did I say the Street Profits?
No, you said Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh, well, that's that was my
That's
next
the
point.
come.
Yeah, give me a second. My bad. Yes, the Street Profits, my bad. I guess you can say on one hand, because they did sort of play to. There was a segment where DIY attacked Motor City and Fraxium, and they told Fraxium, you attacked the champions while they were recovering. So I guess they were a little banged up from the TLC match, but we are putting Fraxium in a spot to get a title match already. Definitely scared for that because of how they can Motor City machine gun them, hot shot the titles on them just for them to fucking lose them and then go into irrelevancy or a dead tag team division. That kind of scares me. Can't lie. I don't want to see them immediately put the tag titles on them. Just right from the jump, because then that gives you lack of, wiggle room in terms of what do you do with them after that. Being that they already won the tag team championships on their brand, other than kind of just fade out like Motor City did. Motor City is featured, but it was just it was your classic, it was your classic, AEW hot shot, put the title on you, but then we have no idea what to do with you. So then when you lose the title, then we really have no idea what to do with you. Type of
Mhm.
booking, man. So scared for that, man. To not to lie whatsoever. So yeah, that's definitely can be quite a concern in today's age, being that you look at what they did with all the tag team champions before that. You look at what they did with Gorillas of Destiny, held the tag team titles. They had like a ladder match that was good during that reign, but other than that, that was it. DIY had a reign. DIY had like 2 or 3 reigns at this point. Can't remember shit
Mhm.
from any of them, minus them turning heel. And then they went to Motor City, did nothing with the titles. Now they're on the Street Profits, and I would hate to see Fraxium suffer that same fate this early on into their main roster run.
Most definitely, man. I really hope they don't suffer that same fate, and I hope they put, more care in booking the tag team division. There's more stories you can tell than people just, oh, I want the world tag team titles. Obviously that is important, but you need to create deeper stories than just wanting the world title. And I think they don't do that with the tag team division at all, and that's why people come in, they win the titles, and they fade away after that because what's there to care about? Because WWE doesn't care after that point, man. So I hope they don't suffer that same fate. I hope, these tag divisions get, mixed up and better aligned than
Mm-hmm.
they are now, man. And I hope a lot of this gets changed and fixed.
Yeah, because you're starting to get to the point with WWE, kind of to the point where AEW got in like 2023, where for years, people were like, oh, just wait till they build the women's division. Then they build the women's division. And, again, this was before the times of Tony Storm, or maybe this was early timeless Tony Storm. Mercedes hadn't been there yet. And then, you look at their roster and you say, okay, well, you kind of have a good roster assembled now. Like, what the fuck are you waiting for? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
always likes to say, WWE doesn't have tag teams. Well, now you got
It's
Fraxium,
valuable.
you got New Day, you got Los Garza that you're, giving a little bit more spotlight to with this whole Andrade and Santos story. You got War Raiders, New Day, Creed Brothers, Los Garza, Motor City, Fraxium, DIY, Street Profits. You're thinking about getting the Lucha Bros together. Who even knows when they're gonna get the Usos back together. You have
Mm-hmm.
teams. You have teams, man. You have a lot of good teams, and it it's really time to start using them. But yes, what they do need absolutely is a shake up. You need to send Motor City over to Monday Night Raw, or just something, man. War Raiders to SmackDown, something, because yeah, I mean, you do got quite a few teams, man. You just don't use them all that well at all.
No, they really don't.
Yes, that is very true. There are probably too few teams for two divisions.
Yeah.
The women's tag division is kind of allowed to float, and that could be another good outcome too, is giving the men's tag division the opportunity to float. But you have two separate tag team championships, and again, unless you plan on getting unless you plan on bringing in a bunch of tag teams, then I don't really, I really think that could that could be a decent option to look towards down the line. Like I said, unless you plan on giving each tag division another 4 to 5 teams to make it a legit division,
Literally.
then that could be an option that you should look towards, because with that, the tag team championships, they felt a lot more important when they did float on the Usos. On the Judgment Day, they kind of got a little stale, but that was just WWE dipping back into their Judgment Day well. But if you were able to have the War Raiders be champions, and all the other teams they have around them are New Day, Creeds, DIY, Motor City, Fraxium, Street Profits, rather than just the Creeds and the New Day, it would look a lot better. It really would.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know, man, but they really got to get it together with these tag team divisions, man. Like I said, unless they're planning on some sort of roster expansion, then which, like I said, would probably take another 4 to 5 teams on each brand,
Oh yeah.
or at the very least 3 tag teams for each brand. Then I would say that's a pretty accurate take. There are a lot of there are too little tag teams for two tag team divisions, man. Which is so
Yeah.
crazy to think, because man, when Triple H had NXT, there was about 6 to 7 different tag teams in that tag division at a time. You know what I mean? In the main roster, if they really wanted to book them correctly, they could have done the double tag division thing. They had so many tag teams that Triple H was breeding down in
Mm-hmm.
NXT, and they never did anything with it. So it
No.
sucks to see.
It's, and then there was like I think that was what, like 2017. We called it the year of like breaking up tag teams, which is
Yes,
like all they did. Man, it's like you have all these teams, use them, build them up, keep creating and assembling these teams and using them, please. That's what Triple H needs to do right now. Is he needs an influx of tag teams. He really does.
they had a stupid amount of tag teams, bro. I mean, American Alpha, New Wyatt Family, Vaudevillains, The Ascension, The Hype Bros, Breezango, and Raw had like the Hardys, Enzo and Cass, and then The Bar they
Gallows.
had as well, Gallows and Anderson, the New Day, like the Revival was there at one point. There
Mhm.
was a fuck ton of tag teams at one point, and they squandered every single one of them, a
No,
majority of them,
literally.
minus the Usos.
Look, minus the Usos, they've all come and gone, and you need to get that energy and get more tag teams in your division. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah, Hunter says we need to bring back the Uso Penitentiary. I'm very intrigued as to when we will actually finally see. Speaking of the Uso Penitentiary, I said this to you over the weekend. Where the fuck is Jimmy? Like,
Yeah. What?
what happened to Big Jim, bro? We seen him at Mania. He celebrated with Jay and he was fine. He was out of the hospital after Gunther, beat the holy hell out of him. And he's been gone. Naomi's been on television, but
Yeah.
he's
It,
gone. Where is Big Jim?
I I wish I knew because I wish he was around. You have 3 hours of SmackDown. Put more people on television, please.
Unless what they do could be an interesting dabble into my idea with the OG bloodline helping Jacob Fatu.
Could be. Maybe.
Jimmy could be, now this is hypothetically speaking, if Solo and Jeff Cobb end up turning on Fatu, Jimmy could be somebody who can maybe help Fatu.
Yeah. Maybe he could. You never know.
Could be. Could be. Jimmy has been doing the 30-second segments with R-Truth.
I
Oh,
don't even know
that's
what that is.
right. Okay, so pretty much anytime we see R-Truth fanboying about John Cena,
Oh,
Jimmy
yes,
walks up
man.
to Jimmy walks up to him and says, like, basically tries to get his head out of his ass.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, he was doing that.
Yes.
I genuinely forgot that, bro. You damn. Well, he's just backstage walking around. The Triple H classic.
LOL. Poor guy Andrade is fucking showing up every week to take off his glasses. Um, so, which even with that, it looks like they're sort of, I guess, maybe like breaking up Los Garza or breaking up Legato.
I
I
guess then they might go over to Andrade instead, or at least Andrade is just trying to get them to break up for something, I guess. Something along those lines.
because they're in a feud with like Ray Phoenix. What do you know? The only creative they can have for Ray Phoenix is feuding with other Mexicans on the brand. LOL. Um,
It's fucking WWE logic.
Legit, like, dude, it's like Andrade was in a feud with Mello, and it was like, it was cool. They were putting on bangers every week, and then after that, it was like, where do we put him? I don't know, just have him feud with Legato. Oh, Ray Phoenix is in. Who are we gonna have him feud with? Uh, Santos and Legato. Like, is there nobody else on the brand? Does it just have to be the Mexican people working with the Mexican people? Like, what?
Like,
What?
to Triple H, apparently, man. I mean, God, I want to see Phoenix versus, other guys on the roster. I want to
Legit.
see him versus a fucking Carmelo Hayes or fucking, you probably have a mismatch in there. That would be fucking hilarious. Um, you have so much shit you could do. Like, do with other shit with people.
Ray Phoenix and Carmelo Hayes.
Mhm.
Uh, Ray Phoenix and The Miz. I want to see Ray
That would
Phoenix
be
out
hilarious.
wrestle the Miz's head would be spinning in the ring with Ray Phoenix.
Exactly why I want to see that match. I want to see the Miz just the whole fucking match. Just fucking that shit would be great.
Oh, golly.
Ugh. Like, dude, I want to see more Matt. That's why Penta has been so successful on Raw is because he's facing a high variety of guys.
Yeah.
They're kind of finally locking him into the fucking El Grande Americano thing.
Hmm.
But for a while, he was facing Ludwig Kaiser. He was
Braun.
facing different members of the Braun, Judgment Day, all these guys, and it was really cool. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I don't want to see Ray Phoenix involved with just constantly this Mexican multiverse that they have over on SmackDown. I want, again, like Penta, I just want him to feel like a part of the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're in their own bubble.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Andrade and Santos and Legato have just been in a bubble, and the only person that they've let in is Ray Phoenix. Like, dude, let these guys face other people, bro. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. So, regardless, that is everything for Friday Night SmackDown. As keep a lookout for this Friday Night SmackDown, because I am very interested to see what happens with Jeff Cobb and
Very.
Solo Sikoa, Jacob
'Cause
Fatu.
I didn't know this, but Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu were on the Indies. They had a very, heavy feud between those two. So
Ooh,
Solo getting a guy that he, has beef with, at least in the ring wise, is very interesting, man. An element I did not know. I did not know they had like a feud in the Indies. I didn't know that.
it's very telling. The more and more time moves on, what exactly Nick Aldis was talking about when Solo said to him, "You're trying to screw over Jacob." And Nick
So
Aldis
you
looked
are.
at Solo and he said, "No, you are."
Mm,
And, he obviously got him into the Fatal 4-Way match that was supposed to be a triple threat match. So Solo evidently made it harder for Fatu to win with only a 25% chance of winning. But Damian Priest is in the match, so that immediately gives Jacob Fatu a 50% chance of winning.
but Jacob Fatu is a genetic freak, so that increases champions by at least 30%. A lot of math.
Yeah.
Solo would not be a fan.
No, fuck math. Fuck
Fuck
math.
math.
um so and now, like you said, these guys have a feud from the indie scene, and it's very interesting because, again, you can clearly tell that Jacob knew exactly who that man was. Jacob wasn't looking confused. He wasn't looking happy.
He
He was
knew.
looking mad. He knew
Hmm.
exactly who Jeff Cobb was, and he did not look very happy. Like I said, he didn't look confused, like he didn't know who the hell Jeff Cobb was. He knows exactly who Jeff Cobb is, and I don't think he was very happy about that at all. So I'm interested to see that, and I'm just excited for this next layer of bloodline, of just bloodline story, man. So yeah,
Very interested.
Monday Night Raw, live tonight from Louisville, Kentucky. Beautiful place, by the way. And the show opens up with CM Punk. He does his shtick. Isn't it great to be alive in Louisville on a Monday night, whatever? He says he is pissed, but he can call this place home. Being that this is where OVW used to take place.
Hey,
So he says the dust has now settled from WrestleMania, and he's nursed a few injuries and a few hurt feelings. But I can't shake off being pissed. He says, the person I'm most pissed off at is myself. He says, we've been here before. This isn't the first time Paul has stabbed me in the back. He recalls Paul turning on him from 2013, and he apologizes to Jay Uso because he warned him about Paul Heyman when he came back to the company. He says he is mad at Paul, but he's more mad at himself. He's also mad at Timu CM Punk, Seth Rollins. He says, we all know how this ends, Seth, but I cannot wait to get my hands around Paul's fat little throat. he
hey,
he tells he
what's he gonna do?
he's on. What are you talking about?
I
What
had
the
to,
fuck
bro.
are you
Sorry, I had
talking
to.
about?
Sorry, I had to. Continue.
He tells he tells Paul whatever Paul Heyman comes out and CM Punk cuts him off and he tells him whatever you choose to say, keep in mind those will be your last words. He says Seth comes out after that, and as he's coming out, CM Punk says that he is just a song. Come on down here. Seth stays on the ramp. He says CM Punk is so selfish. He made his best friend's life hell after your best friend believed in you. He says his belief, this is Rollins now saying that his belief is that CM Punk is scum. You're also the reason I am not the world heavyweight champion. Punk says, you will never be champion again as long as I'm on 2 feet. This is now another guy CM Punk is promising will never hold gold again. And Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Yeah. So Seth says, what is your deal? Do you like receiving punishment? Do you like being on the wrong side of history? Wait, I get it. You like to play the victim. You love to come out here saying, oh, cry me a river. Boo-hoo. You're so You're so desperately wanting to be a victim and die a martyr. Well, I believe that can be arranged as Braun Breaker is ready to jump out of his boots. He's ready for Seth Rollins to sick him on CM Punk. So take him off the leash. He's sitting there like a rabid animal. Braun gets in the ring. He attacks CM Punk. Well, he attacks CM Punk as Rollins watches. Rollins gets in the ring. Punk kind of breaks loose, attacks Rollins. Braun jumps back on top of him, so they're both jumping Punk right now. Sami Zayn comes out to help. They eventually get the one up, and then they start whooping both of their asses. Rollins grabs a steel chair, and he's about to hit CM Punk right over the dome with it as the World Heavyweight Champ Jey Uso comes out to save the day as they all... as they chase Braun, Seth, and Paul Heyman away with some steel chairs. So, yeah, this was your opening segment to Monday Night Raw. The Crimea River line was pretty hilarious, and yeah, this was your opening segment. Like I said, I like just Punk's delivery. Punk's delivery is always great, but I did like it here. Just how he was very to the point, no bullshit, and just ready to take on these guys and just pissed off. I mean, that's just the vibe I got from this whole thing. Is he's simply just been pissed off, but he is mad at himself for trusting his friend and trying to put things behind him. But yeah, I mean, and Rollins delivery as well. I like how Rollins has turned this CM Punk hatred into some of his heel dialogue. So nice stuff. And then as for the brawl, it was good. And it was very interesting. Being a couple segments later, we did get a very interesting segment with Seth where he was telling Braun, they don't know what I'm capable of, or they think they have us beat. And that is very interesting to me. And again, I know a lot of the dirt sheets have been saying there's no plans for a third man. A lot of this dialogue and a lot of the way some of Rollins' dialogue comes off to me is that he's one step ahead of them and he has people that are going to join this thing.
Very much, very much. I think that was the biggest vibe coming out of the opening to Raw is, the heels are outnumbered. But, later, like you said in the night, Seth goes on to say, well, I've got this more planned out than they think. They think they have my number. So I think it's very obvious like you said, that they are pointing for a third man, and it's very intriguing, man. Very intriguing because they still have Jey Uso involved in this, and he's half involved and he's kind of half not involved, especially after tonight. So it's very interesting to how is it seems like they're gonna keep the 2-on-2 aspect for as much as they can, but there are teases of them being outnumbered when another person comes into the fray. So I'm very curious. I don't think it's gonna happen as of next week or the next 2 weeks, but they're definitely teasing up this third man sooner than people think, and I'm very curious to see how and who it's going to be.
Definitely, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, we've talked about it for a little bit, man. I think there's a lot of good names that they can go with. There's a lot of good names that they can go with. It's just a matter of when, I feel. Yeah.
I think it is.
So this match did end up getting confirmed for Saturday night's main event, a tag team match. This is the Saturday night's main event Double or Nothing weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
it will be Rollins and Breaker versus Punk and Sami Zayn. So they get to finally make amends for Sami Zayn going out for pizza with Cole Cabana, and they I could very well see it being there. I could very well see them wanting to make a splash on
Mm-hmm.
Double or Nothing weekend, just to
I
kind
can see
of
that.
get the one up on AEW, I guess.
Which have you seen the rumors about Evolution?
I yes, I think I think it's gonna be a busy weekend for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, holy shit. Like what? So the Saturday night's main event, obviously Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and damn, they're what the fuck, man? That's gonna be a fucking busy weekend if that is true. And I really wouldn't be shocked if it does end up. I wouldn't be shocked if it does end up being true. So very interesting. Stay tuned for Monday for Evolution news
Friday.
because you guys aren't getting it from yes, Friday. My bad. Friday for Evolution news because you guys aren't getting it from WWE. So hopefully you get it from us.
Yes, hopefully we
No word.
yes, we've heard some stuff that should definitely be interesting for Friday and how that whole thing is going to work out. But yeah, so that should be very interesting. However, yeah, so yeah, like I said, I would presume maybe if they do add a third man, they're gonna do it there. Unless they prolong this thing to Money in the Bank around the time Roman will be coming back or whatever the case may be. So we'll see. We will see, man. But yeah,
Very.
Penta defeated Chad Gable here today. We finally seen Gable's face, man. We finally seen his face. He El Grande Americano is was not here tonight. He was not
No, he
here
was on
tonight.
tour in Mexico.
Oh, there you go.
Apparently.
He was touring with AAA, and Penta defeated Chad Gable with a Mexican destroyer, but instead of a running start, which he normally does, he came off the top rope with it. He jumped off the top rope while Gable was, planted in the ring, and he hit it from off the top. So that was that. Looked great. It looked great as Penta picked up the victory against Chad Gable as they continue to play into the story that Chad Gable, when he's Chad Gable, he has a hard time defeating luchadors. So I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what in him is going to change for him to be able to beat a luchador.
I really don't. I really don't know like what the end goal with this Chad Gable stuff is. It's like, I get it. He's El Grande Americano because he can't beat luchadors, so he kind of becomes one, but still cheats. I'm just saying, where's the end game for Chad Gable in this? How is this at the end of the day gonna make Chad Gable look better? I I don't know how, and I don't know if it will. So I'm very curious to see how this goes, man. Good for Penta, obviously. Always going to win is good. He's been great, but just man, it's just what's the end game with this?
100%. 100%. It just I say it all the time. This obviously isn't my first time saying it, but I just really hope when this is all said and done, they they finally give Chad Gable his flowers, because I know WWE likes to move under the sentiment of good things come to those who wait, but man, I mean, again, this guy has done an outstanding job. And El Grande Americano is not even the worst thing. And you know, we even said that going into this is like Chad Gable is given something that's rather corny, but he's going to make it work, because
Hmm.
that's what he does, and he's done that. Like I said, obviously it's not ideal, but you know, to sit there and say it's bad, I think is incorrect. It's entertaining for what it is, and that's because Chad makes it work. And
Hmm.
God, I just really, really, really hope that they can find it in themselves to reward this guy when it is all said and done, and when they're done with this whole Grande Americano shtick, and finally, man, put this guy in the mid card scene at the very least. He should have been a mid card champion. He should have been the IC champion last year. I really don't know what the fuck they were waiting for there, um, but dude, again, one day. I really want to see this guy win a world championship someday. I think he's that good, and I think he can hang with that upper
Hmm.
echelon of talent. And I just really hope they can find it in themselves to actually get him there,
I really hope so.
because he is
He's insanely good.
he's already 39, you know. So I just I don't I really don't know what you're waiting for. You know, again, I know you like to think that, you know, good things come to those who wait, but you know, not a lot of these guys, I'm sure, envisioned having their peak run well into their 40s. You know, give it to them while they're youthful. You know, not saying that Chad is going to slow down anytime soon, but just saying I don't know what you're waiting for so long.
I really don't.
So with that, we get a Judgment Day segment. What do you know? We get the opening
Boy,
promo, a match, and then right into a Judgment Day segment every week.
every
Every
week.
week. So they're all in the back. Dominic's on the phone with Liv. He gets off the phone with Liv and he says, her movie's going great, but she said good morning and it's nighttime.
Hmm.
So they're explaining to they're explaining to Dominic what a time zone is. And before all that happens, though, he says, Finn, can I talk to you for a minute? See, you were supposed to be out there helping me Saturday, but I noticed you kind of hesitated. What happened? Finn says, dude, what are you talking about? You're starting to sound like Damien and Rhea. Remember how they acted when they were all champions? Or when the both of them were champions? All paranoid? He says, come on, man. I didn't do that on purpose, man. Don't be like them. Dom says, "Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Just go take care of AJ tonight, all right?" As he stares at Finn. Um, I thought this was good. I thought this was good. I thought I hope this wasn't pointing at you're a champion and I don't like you, so we're gonna have to kick you out of here too because you're starting to get weird while you're a champion, even though you know it's
He
always just
wants to
been
be.
yes, even though it's just been Finn getting jealous. But I just really hope the story they play. I wouldn't mind at them hinting at that, obviously, but I really hope the story they play is Dominic is wise and he doesn't want Finn Balor to end up costing him the championship because he's jealous, because he's seen him do that with Damien. So before we even
Hmm.
get to that point, let's just kick this guy out of the group, that being Finn. I hope that's the way that that all goes. I really hope.
I really fucking hope so, man, because like I said, they're kind of pointing it in the thing of, oh, Judgment Day when one of them becomes a champ, they get, too much of an ego or something and they get kicked out. Don't repeat that same shit, dude. It didn't even work the first time. I hate to break it to you. It didn't work the first time. Don't repeat something that didn't already work. And just play the right story, kick Finn out. And you need to change and end this group, please.
Mhm. A couple segments later, Balor was in the back again talking to Roxanne Perez. So, starting to think, come Evolution,
Hmm.
we will probably be seeing Roxanne and Julia take on Liv and Raquel for the tag team
I can see that.
championships. I wouldn't like to see them as a group with Balor. I would just like to see Balor set them up. Um,
Exactly. I
you
hope
know,
he's not setting up the next Judgment Day. I really hope not, because I could totally see them putting those two women in the Judgment Day with just, their styles and all
mhm,
that shit. I don't want that. I don't want the Judgment Day period at this point. I just want evolution in these characters.
for sure, for sure. So yeah, that was that segment this week. Like it was pretty good, man. It was I liked a lot of times they try to confront each other while kind of beating around the bush, but I kind of like Dominic's to the point kind of delivery here.
I do. I like that.
So CM Punk and Sami Zayn are in the back. They're sitting in the locker room. They're talking about their match that has just got confirmed at this point for Saturday night's main event.
Mm.
Punk tells Sammy, "I'm having a hard time trusting anybody right now." Sammy says, "Well, I had a hard time trusting you at War Games, and look what happened. It all worked out. Neither one of us can get anything done with these two guys standing in our way. We have to work together. We can't do this alone." So they gave each other knuckles and agreed to be, cool with each other during this whole thing. And yeah, I really hope Sammy, I guess, trying to mend trust with CM Punk doesn't. I don't think it'll be any sort of foreshadowing, but I am on very high
Um,
alert since that stunt they pulled the night after WrestleMania.
Dude, ever since then, dude, every segment I feel like with Sami Zayn is a weird like tease into that, and it just fucking I don't know, I don't like that idea, and I'm really scared for that idea. Even tonight with that tease, CM Punk doesn't trust people, and Sami Zayn, I don't trust you, so we got to trust each other for this and whatnot. It's like, dude. Oh man, it's still scaring me, even with that segment tonight, man. But overall, excited to see what we get then.
Well,
Hopefully, we get the third guy.
there was a part when they're all standing in the ring and they all have chairs. And it looks very Shield esque, right? Where Punk has a chair, but Sammy has a chair, but he's kind of positioned behind Punk. And even then, I'm just like, "Duh, don't fucking do it. Do not do
Dude, I'm
that."
terrified.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. I'm legit
Like,
terrified, bro. Every time I see Sami Zayn, I'm like,
dude,
no, do not do
bro,
that.
literally every time Sami Zayn's on TV, there's just this underthought of just a heel turn happening at that moment, and it's fucking terrifying every single time he's on television.
They turned Sami Zayn heel, man. I
Yeah,
swear to you, bro. That is
and
fuck, man.
that's man, do not do that because oof, ooh
You're
man, just don't fucking do that.
yeah, you are throwing a lot of rich story out of the window. You turn that guy heel. I am not going to be a
A
fan of that.
lot of story. Not in the slightest, dude. I don't care about let it play out. That is not something I want to play out.
I was going to say we're talking about let it play out. Can we please let babyface Sammy play out?
Mhm. Can we let babyface anything play out at this point?
Fuck, man. Like I'll give you this. In the moment, turning Chad Gable heel, I thought was dumb. In the long run, I ended up fucking with it a lot. I love it. Sami
Yeah.
Zayn, not that,
No.
not that story. That is not the story for Sami Zayn. That is not what your audience adores that man. Do not. Why
Mhm.
would you ever turn him heel? And sure, you can say, they adore Rollins or they adore this guy or that guy.
It's
Yes, but
different.
but Rollins also has justified reasons for turning heel. It is literally Sami Zayn's character that he is just a kind-hearted dude. That is
It's
just he's wholesome. It's just
he
it.
sees the good in people and all the
Yes,
like, dude, that's his whole thing. And come on, dude, you can't do that.
yes. Rollins has been proven. Rollins has been or has been. I guess. Um, Rollins' story makes sense to just be a justified sort of heel character and have a reason why. To me, Sami Zayn just hasn't had that why because at every time he could have had that why, like Roman or Kevin or Jay or getting this, all you've done is just tell us that all he wants to see is the good in people and he's a good dude and how he's a great guy. That's just
Mhm.
he is your Daniel Bryan. That's who
It
Sami
really is.
Zayn is, and you do not turn Sami Zayn heel.
No, you cannot turn that man heel until like 2 years after his babyface world title run. That is what that's when you could think about doing it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like maybe like a year after he drops the championship, a year and a half,
Exactly.
something like that. But before, that's just
No.
a ridiculously stupid idea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but he's talking here to CM Punk about trusting. You could trust me, man. You could trust me. We can't do it alone. We got to do it together. And I'm just like, oh God.
It's
Like,
scary, bruh.
it is just because CM Punk sitting there talking about, CM Punk sitting there, telling Sammy, I'm having a hard time trusting people. It makes me think, like, oh God,
And
can he trust Sammy? They've been teasing this bullshit.
and the fact that in that segment he says, "Yeah, I do trust you, man." Like him for that fast to be like, "You know what? I do trust you, man." It's just scary. At this point, I would kind of like him to be more wary of Sami Zayn because the more wary he would be, the more it's not gonna
Yep.
happen. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
like, dude, it's just fucking scary, bruh.
You turn Sami Zayn heel on fucking Saturday night's main event, you're gonna fucking hear from me. I'll tell you that. Um,
They're gonna be lucky we're gonna be live that next night, dog, because we might not even be live that night. Holy hell.
fuck, dude.
Fucking double or nothing, bro. God
Uh,
damn, that's gonna be a whole different review at that point.
man.
Yeah,
So we got we got here we are. The Alpha, no, not Alpha Academy. You did this. You did this last
I did
last
that
week. You
last
called
week.
them, yeah. American made. They defeated the War Raiders. Dude, they literally said on Backlash that this was going to be a match to see who gets the next shot at the
Mhm.
tag team championships. And then
They might
American
get a
Made,
title.
dude, American Made wins the
Ah,
match and they say they're working themselves towards a future title match. Are you guys fucking with
w-
me or do they say this every week?
even at the start of the match, that's what I thought because the match starts and commentary's like, whoever win this, that might gain in the momentum to possibly have a title shot. And the first thing I think is, motherfuckers, this was for a title shot officially. What do you mean? Like, what the
Man,
fuck, dude? And like before the last title shot, War Raiders literally won a title shot, and you just said they didn't. Ugh.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is th- again, how many times have we fucking seen American Made versus the War Raiders, dude? I
And
mean,
then either War Raiders or fucking American Made versus the New Day.
yes.
It's like, dog, what? New Day's on commentary. They're scared of the War Raiders, but American Made are also good possible competition. It's the same fucking thing every week.
um, the New Day distract Eric as his boy is getting beat the fuck down inside of the ring, and he gets a Brutus ball. And Eric is just still talking to the New Day, goes to run in the ring, and at the last second he's too late. An American Made win. The New Day run off. You tried your damage control on the New Day. The only thing that's going to pick up the New Day at this point is the re-arrival of
He's
Big
Biggie.
E. That's
Yeah,
literally
Biggie.
it.
You can't, dude. You can't set up a turn involving a guy, and that guy isn't there after said turn. You can't. They need Big E to continue, momentum, the story, them being the way they are. And if he's not coming back, you might as well just split those two up and let those two be singles guys at this fucking point.
I I don't know. I don't know, dude. Yeah, like I said, you have tried your damage control, and that being them winning the championships at a pretty boring match at WrestleMania against the War Raiders, probably because we've seen it 2,500 times within the last 6 months, and it's not working.
Mm.
It's not working. Your
No,
damage control is not working. You putting the titles on them is putting I mean that is quite literally Sabu cutting his bicep open and you put a fucking band-aid on it. What is a band-aid
literally
going to do for that wound? Nothing. Um
nothing at all.
it yeah, I mean you're putting your a new what's the saying? A new coat of paint does not make the stain go away. Yeah,
Yeah.
you put an accessory on the New Day, and I don't know what you expected that to do. It did nothing. Your division still sucks, and you decided to give the new NXT call up tag team to the other brand.
For
To
what fucking reason?
So your division, quite literally, after WrestleMania 41, is the exact fucking same before we went into the show. Again, the only thing that's going to save these guys and their momentum or any heat behind their name is Big E.
Yep.
You drop the ball.
You really fucking dropped the ball, dude.
And it sucked because that moment with the New Day last year was a nominee for Moment of the Year for us.
Oh, insanely fucking phenomenal moment. Incredible.
So, yeah, it was a great heel turn. Dropped the ball ridiculously hard. So, Rollins is in the back and he's talking to Braun Breaker. As Braun Breaker's in his 2021 Jey Uso era, where he's sitting on the chair and he's shaking like a rabid dog.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rollins tells Braun, he says, they think they won. They probably think they are a step ahead of us. They probably think they've got us beat. But they have no idea what I am capable of. He tells Braun, before we leave tonight, I need you to do one more thing. He whispers something in his ear, and Braun smiles. So, obviously, we would find out what this is later, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Just scary because I just want him to add a third man that is quite literally anybody on the roster not named Sami Zayn.
Literally, your only wrong answer is Sami Zayn.
So, I mean, legit, I would be more fine with them adding fucking Adam Pearce to this group before they add Sami Zayn to this group because
Yeah,
I just, God, I'm scared for that. You know what I mean?
I really
They think they have the one up. They don't know what I'm capable of. It just, I don't know. It just gives me vibes that something's going on behind the scenes that we don't really know about, and it's I don't know.
scary, bro.
It's just God, I just really don't want them to do that again. Anybody, dude, anybody. Austin Theory, Carmelo Hayes, somebody, Trick William, somebody, dude. Please, just not Sami Zayn. Please, for the love of
So
God.
long as it's not- Exactly.
So, um, Jay Uso. Jay comes out for a promo. He calls out Logan Paul again. He calls out Logan Paul. I don't know. I guess every week he's calling out Logan Paul, and then Logan Paul just never shows up on screen. So I guess he's just coming to hang out at this point. But all right,
Literally.
calls out Logan Paul. He says he's going to beat him and retain his championship at Saturday night's main event. But before you know it, Gunther comes out. This is weird. So I'm like,
Very weird.
okay. So Gunther comes out and he tells Jay that I could tell you cannot handle the pressure of everyone being after you. He says,
Mhm.
I could tell it does not come natural to you like it did to me. Gunther, who did you have come after you necessarily? Because as far as I'm concerned, that title reign was horse shit, and you had nobody
Yeah.
but fucking Damian Priest scaring you during it.
Hmm.
I love Gunther, but fuck, that was bad. Excuse
Bless
me,
you.
had to mute there for a second. Yes, that title reign. I don't know how Gunther felt the pressure of everyone coming after him. But anyways, he says, I'm out here to let you know that at Saturday night's main event, you will be facing, whoever wins at Saturday night's main event will be facing me for the World Championship on June 29th. That is the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. What the fuck is going to be on this Money in the Bank undercard?
Yeah, I looked up that date because I was like, wait, what even is that? And like you said, it's the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. Um, what? I I don't know, man. I fucking don't know I don't know what's going on here, dude. This Raw main event scene, I don't fucking know what's going on.
That would make two of us. That would definitely make two of us. So he says he's going to be challenging for the World Championship on June 9th, and on that day he will take his rightful place once again and remind Jay where his place is. Jay reminds him that this is the first time they've met since he made Gunther tap out. He says, this is my rightful place. He says, right here, yeet, with my championship, yeet, over my shoulder, yeet, running this place, yeet. And I will walk out of that match the same way I walked out of WrestleMania. 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. God, that's horrible. That is.
I,
And I just know WWE is going to make a shirt out of that. I just know they're going to fucking make a shirt
oh
that
yeah,
says 4 letters, 1 word,
Mhm.
yeet. I know they're going to do it.
Fucking hate it so goddamn much, dude. I mean, he he's the world champ over there, man. Good
So,
lord. But
I'll
Hmm.
say the one thing I like so far about Jay's run, it seems like more people were gunning for Jay than they were gunning for Gunther.
Yeah.
That is one thing I'll say I like about Jay having all these different challengers. He's got Rollins on his ass. He's got Logan Paul on his ass. He's got Gunther on his ass. Those are two names, and Logan Paul's in there as a throwaway match, but those are two names that are legit guys, and I like I like the just idea that people are gunning for Jey Uso. Like I said, I wish this is how it was for Gunther's reign. I wish a CM Punk, or at the time a babyface Seth Rollins, or different guys that weren't repeat opponents for Gunther, like Priest or Sami Zayn, were gunning for him. You know what I mean? It just felt like it was a bunch of repeat opponents for the guy. Meanwhile, with Jay, sure they might be repeat opponents, but it just seems like it seems like people just are after him, and it just seems like he's
Hmm.
under attack, and that is an aspect that I actually like so far about his World Heavyweight Championship run, as again with Gunther, it quite literally was just a bunch of people that he had just recently faced. You know what I mean? And with Jay, at least, well, obviously Logan's a new opponent, but him and Gunther have their story, and this is sort of, I guess, a newer version of Seth Rollins, so a bit of a touch up, I guess, on Seth. But yeah, it just seems like people are after him, and people actually want the championship. It makes the championship feel prestigious. You know what I mean? With Gunther's reign, it just felt like they were slotting him against an opponent to get him to the next pay per view, and that was it.
Definitely, man. It really felt like that, and it does feel better with Jay, where they definitely are booking the world title situation more interesting with more challengers, which is good. And with the rumors of the draft being right before Money in the Bank, to where the results kick in after Money in the Bank, that makes this Gunther match very interesting. Because does that mean he's gonna stay on Raw, or is that gonna be his like Raw send off match? Which is a way to know he's not gonna fucking win the match. But I I don't know what this could be, dude. I really don't know what this could be. I think it'd either be Gunther send off, or obvious to of a way he's gonna stay on Raw. I have no clue what any of this is gonna build towards.
For sure. For sure, man. So, yeah, that's that. That is that. And then afterwards, we get a interview with Ludwig Kaiser, where I think it was Jackie. She basically kind of put dude on the spot. She's like, so, uh, last year it seemed like you were a rising superstar. And essentially next she told him, this year you haven't done shit, and we're almost halfway through the year. And then we hear like some noise in the background, and they're like, oh, sorry, Ludwig. Well, we'll catch up to you another time. And they just walk
Oh,
away as Braun Breaker is standing right over Jey Uso, who is laid out. So I guess that was Rollins' last favor before Braun left the building, as Sammy and CM Punk came to his aid. So, yeah, very very interesting, man. Very interesting to see where this whole thing goes, and how this must mean at Money in the Bank. Maybe the reason Jay's not on that Money in the Bank card is not defending the world title, at least so far, in that Money in the Bank card. Maybe we get the third man at Saturday night's main event, and then at Money in the Bank we get Rollins Breaker and the third man versus Jay, Sammy, and Punk.
maybe we
Maybe.
could. That is true. Maybe something like that. I really have no fucking clue, man. But we're on tax, Jay, and um, intriguing to see what this is building to, because Jay has his world title feud that he's basically not involved in, but
Oh, not at all.
but not at all. But very interesting to see how this is going, man.
Yeah. Um. I, I will say I would much rather Logan Paul on the Saturday night's main event than Logan Paul on the Money in the Bank card. So, even though they're
Yeah.
probably gonna put him in the stupid ladder match anyway. So, but thankfully he's getting a world title match on ultimately a show that nobody cares about. So,
Mhm.
with that, yeah, so that segment was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if I could say one thing about Jay's reign, I like the idea that people are gunning for the man. So I do like that, but yeah, it's just very interesting to see where they're gonna take with Gunther and all those different routes surrounding just what happens to Gunther after this, because I would assume he loses to Jey Uso again on June the 9th, and at
I
that
would
point,
definitely assume.
yeah, you gotta move, brothers. You got to. So yeah. So
Mhm.
that's that. As AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Styles versus Finn. The Judgment Day kind of starts to get involved as Penta comes out and helps Judgment Day, or helps AJ take care of Judgment Day rather. He's on the outside giving him a bunch of Mexican destroyers. He kind of was clutching his lower back, so hope he's all good. Thought that was kind of weird though.
And earlier in the night after, his match, Penta was kind of like grabbing at his arms. You see like the ref like checking his arm after the match, and
Hmm.
like it was interesting, man. I hope he's good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So AJ Styles then hits the phenomenal forearm on Finn Balor to get himself another victory, man. And it looks like, whether it's going to be Saturday night's main event or Money in the Bank, it looks like we're gearing up towards AJ versus Dom, which is great because this means we get to see Dom work more.
Exactly.
I'm sure you are sitting in the same boat. I would certainly love to see him work a match against AJ Styles. So
I would love that. I would love for, Judgment Day to not be involved in said match, or very little involvement. And I would very much like that match. And I think we're definitely getting it soon. If not, Saturday night's main event, I would probably rather prefer Money in the Bank, but I think we'll get it whenever they see fit, or wherever they see fit.
for sure. Karrion Cross. He is talking to the New Day in the background. He's giving them his t-shirt. Okay. You got a couple more weeks, but I'm going to say this now. Extended opportunities.
Literally.
Giving the New Day his fucking t-shirt does not sound like an extended opportunity for Karrion Cross.
He,
Now, we got some Money in the
mhm.
Bank qualifiers coming up, so we'll see. But right
Oh,
now,
very much.
2 weeks after that story, these don't seem like extended opportunities to me at all.
Genuinely, dude, it felt like he got more TV time and involvement before the company caught on that he was over than now that they caught on that he's over, we see him even less. Like you said, I'll give it a few more weeks.
You know, Karrion Cross. One thing that would maybe be cool to put on the Money in the Bank card. I don't think WWE would have the balls to do this. If anything, they would probably just throw both of them in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Karrion Cross, at least his character, seems disgusted of guys like Logan Paul.
Yeah,
And if WWE had any set of balls, they put Pat McAfee and Gunther on a pay-per-view, so maybe you can do a Karrion Cross and Logan Paul match and have Karrion Cross maul the guy, because if you remember, AJ Styles told Karrion Cross, if you have such a problem with me not taking care of it the way you wanted to, then why don't you do it? Cross said, maybe I
yeah.
will. 2 weeks later, he's fucking handing the New Day his t-shirt backstage. I don't know. maybe that could be something that WWE could look into, you know, is putting Karrion Kross against Logan Paul and just having Kross maul the guy because he, you know, character-wise would not respect what Logan Paul stands for and how, you know, and how he goes about the business or whatever. So that might be something they could dabble into. But again, an extended opportunity to me is not handing the New Day his t-shirt in the back. It wasn't even a segment. It wasn't even a segment that was being filmed. He was in the background of them filming another segment. What is this?
Is giving them his T-shirt. So I would love that idea. I would love him facing Logan Paul and just destroying him. I think that'd be really cool. And like you said, bro, I'm gonna keep giving it a few more weeks, man. But
I want to see how they go about involving him in Money in the Bank. But is he getting extended opportunities or is he starting a fucking clothing brand? I mean, what? Seriously? Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was out here, no Lyra tonight. So, Becky says she was not beaten. She says Lyra was beaten. The reason I say that is because one of us went straight to the hospital and the other one sat in the locker room, had some libations, and basked in our brilliance. She says, I walked away from this for almost a year because you asked me to. Let's not forget that. After everything I did for you, all you guys did was complain when I won championships. I heard the reaction. I seen the comments online, but I was okay with it at first because I was okay with it at first because I love you guys. I try to listen to you guys. I said, okay, they don't want to see me. I'll go away for a little bit. And if I'm not, what is there else to do? If I'm not going for the world championship, why am I here? So I stepped away. And I was okay with it at first because I have you guys to thank for my entire career, right? You guys saw yourselves in me. You guys took me in. I was you, you were me. But then something changed because the more I started to succeed, you guys couldn't see yourselves in me anymore because all you know is failure. She says, when she was gone, it was nice to feel good about myself and not have fans try to tell her who I am or what I'm about. I just don't care anymore, so whatever you say, I am. If you think I'm greedy, I'm selfish, I'm cutthroat, then I am. And all of those girls in the back are going to finally realize what it's like to be held down by the man. So far, in the heel run, with her interacting with the audience, this has been the best one so far. This was, I thought, a stellar explanation for why she did what she did. After all, man, I think this was the line about, you know, you guys seeing yourselves in me until I started to succeed, and then you couldn't see yourselves in me because all you guys are used to is failure. That is pretty good stuff, man. That is pretty good stuff, and this is the best that we've seen Becky interact with the audience since she's gotten back. This was a great explanation on why she turned heel, and in typical Triple H fashion, her why is very good. Her why is very good. It makes sense. The fans asked her to go away, and then she comes back, and they miss her, and then she comes back and they hate her again. Yeah, this was great stuff. This was really good stuff, and this was, you know, obviously some sort of continuation of the Lyra feud, and then obviously her sort of embracing into all the different things that everybody likes to call her: greedy, selfish, cutthroat, Becky Hogan, all that stuff. It's obviously all bullshit, and I thought she was going to.
I thought she was. I thought she was gonna say Becky Hogan, but she didn't.
Yeah, so
unfortunately.
she I thought I really did think she was gonna say that, but I like how she's leaning into all this stuff, man, and I thought this was a very good explanation, and I thought this was a very good why as to why she came back with such a grudge.
Definitely, man, definitely. Yeah, I really enjoyed this segment, and I really enjoyed what Becky did here, man. I liked her reasonings. I liked just, I just like what she did tonight. It was a lot better than what she was doing, when, like you said, when she was with Lyra face to face, it was really good. But during that feud, when Lyra wasn't, in front of her, it was really just cringy and just pointless. And this was the opposite of that. It was really good, really focused, and great reasonings. And she's right in her way of being heel. She is right again. Triple H is great at that, making heels justified in why they're heels. Um, and Becky is no different. I like what she did tonight, and I loved that man line at the end. The man bringing them down, and I would love for her to flip, the nickname of the man into, a negative thing. She's the man. She's the system now, and I think that's a really cool way to flip that nickname. I hope she keeps that. Um, and I like what they're doing with this, man. I like what she's doing, with this whole heel run, her reasoning. I'm glad we got the real reasoning,
Mhm.
and it was really fucking good tonight.
Yes, it was great, man. It was great, and you can you can look at a lot of things here, and what's most important in all this is you can look at a lot of these things and say, okay, I can see why she would think that way. That makes sense
Hmm.
why she would feel that way about a certain situation. So yeah, this was great, and the heel run got off on a rocky start. I hope we can keep on this path.
I hope so.
Yeah, because this was great shit. And obviously, her match with Lyra at Backlash was great shit. And it really goes to just show her ability to elevate is second to none.
It really is.
Yeah, she is a ridiculously insane star, in ring performer, whatever you want to call her. She's amazing. So, Rusev. Rusev, he's
Hey.
getting a little backstage segment here. Rusev is talking about how they are controlled by lesser people. He says, "Do you think they care that you miss your family?" He, I guess, is talking to all the roster. He says he will not leave his brothers until they all wake up. So hurt or be hurt. He says, "I would rather you fall into my hands than fall into the abyss." So he would rather beat the shit out of them than them go to AEW. That's essentially what he said
Exactly.
here.
But, hmm
So this I thought this promo was very good. Man. I thought, Rusev's backstage um little vignette videos have been very, very good thus far, and I've enjoyed them a lot. So yeah, very good, and I think this was just a good little something for him to do next week, or for this week, I mean.
most definitely, man. I really liked it. I love, this Rusev character that they made for him. It's got a little bit of the Redeemer, a little bit of, something else, something original. Really like it, and very curious to see where they take it in the coming weeks.
For sure. Aleister Black was sort of doing something similar to this on Friday Night SmackDown. Um,
Yeah.
he had uttered some sort of line about um I know you expect me to, speak in riddles or all this stuff, but I buried that man, and that man is gone. So very interesting to
Pretty much.
see what kind of direction they're going to take with his character as well. So hopefully they continue to give him more just valuable mic time.
I hope so. I hope so.
So WWE announced that Money in the Bank qualifiers start next week. Hopefully Karrion Kross's name pops up somewhere in there. I think he'd be if WWE really wanted to go out on a limb and give it to, and really take a step out of their comfort zone, he could be the guy you put Money in the Bank on.
He really could be. I think he would be fucking great in that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so the main event: Rhea Ripley Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez and Julia, the Running Buddies. Match is very good. Match is very good. It's a solid tag team match, as you can expect from all four women. And this was kind of just say regular women's tag team main event. There was no, big drama or anything at the end of this match. It was quite
Yeah, they
literally
can.
just a main event with a regular pinfall finish. 1, 2, 3, and we go home. That was it.
Yeah, it literally the only bit of drama at the end was, when Rhea and Io were celebrating.
Yep.
Rhea was like grabbing onto her title as well, and they stared at each other. But like, who would have guessed we're gonna do another match between those
Yeah.
two? So that really wasn't that shocking.
Yeah.
So very very simple main event. Very good main event in ring wise. So that's always great to see. And
Yep.
just very simple, and obviously teasing the next Io and Rhea match whenever they fucking finally announce Evolution.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, Rhea ended up hitting a riptide to Julia. No, Julia is not buried. Um, she hit a riptide to Julia for the 1, 2, 3 as Io held Roxanne down so she could not kick out of the pinfall.
hmm
And they celebrated, and Io and Rhea Ripley grabbed, or Rhea raised Io's hand that had the championship, and she couldn't take her eyes off the belt. I think we're going to see the women featured in a lot of main events, just building up to Evolution. I just think
I
they're
think
going to,
so.
put them front and center as we get closer to that date. So yeah, I mean,
It's
pretty solid main event though.
Exactly, man. Especially with the next, overall pay-per-view being Money in the Bank. That's not one where you have to build like crazy feuds for. It's really just, setting up those Money in the Bank, qualifying matches and the ladder matches.
Hmm.
So we'll leave a lot of room to set up what's going to happen on Evolution on TV. So it's a good system to kind of pair those around each other. Uh, what their parent evolution was is even crazier, man. But it's a good move nonetheless. Overall, I just really wish they would have announced it. I'm really kind of tired of a month before the show it gets announced.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, that is pretty much everything we got
Mhm.
here today for your week of wrestling, man. That has been everything for Dynamite, for SmackDown, for NXT. And that is going to do it, everybody. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on your 247th edition of NHP Unscripted, man. And like I said, man, that is going to do it for this edition of Unscripted. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today. It has been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
And Sir K.
And that is going to do it for this edition of NHP Unscripted. This has been episode 247. Thank you guys so very much. We got brother BKL, Hunter, and Logan. Thank you guys so very much for joining us, whether you guys are here now or part of the Replay Mafia. Thank you guys, man. Appreciate you guys as always. And with that, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you all on Friday with the news.
Peace.